Hey up everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Hope you're all well on this Sunday night or maybe Monday morning, wherever you may be in the world. Tonight's video is going to be episode 9 of my Rugby League Numpy of the Week Awards. Now if you're new to the channel, it's just basically an episode that I do where I call out people that either say a daft thing, do a daft thing online. It can be something daft that the players said or done. Can be something daft that an executive's done, someone that kind of runs a club. It can be anything really. And I go through a bunch of nominations and I pick a winner. I've already done 8 other episodes, go check those out. I've made a playlist for those. But we'll get straight into it. And as I normally do, I just cut straight to the chase and announce the winner and then just name all the other nominees. So the winner this week went to someone by the name of Clayton. So instead of having just Clayton, he's done Clayton. So it's C-L-A-Y space and then ton. And he typed on Facebook, South did not meet the North Sydney did not meet the criteria, but unlike South, accepted it like a champion club. Perhaps if North Sydney were a child and went to court, they might also be alive. I have more respect for North than South. Then he went on to say, all clubs agree to accept the requirement and criteria. South failed the criteria, therefore they have no right to exist today no matter what. And then he went on to say, we need to dump all Sydney teams, offer 4 licences under strict stadium requirements, no suburban grounds allowed, and let the teams restart all over again. From there, make it a truly national competition. If the product is good enough, it'll survive. But what I gotta say to that is, can you imagine just cutting all the Sydney clubs like that? Just telling all the fans of all the clubs out there, sorry, your team doesn't exist anymore and we're going to be making new teams and you can go for those if you want, and there's going to be no suburban rugby league anymore. It's just going to be all at soulless, empty balls of a stadium. And also with the South thing, South knew that the criteria was fucked up. They knew that it wasn't fair, and they were the only Sydney team that got fucked over by the criteria, that had the guts to take the NRL to court, and they won, and they deserved to be in the competition today. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now going back to the other nominees, the first one is Christopher Legge, or Legge, maybe Christopher Legge, I think it's Christopher Legge. And he said, and Melbourne have the cheese running up and down the line with a broken jaw and jumping for joy and getting angry with the highs and lows of the game. There's a reason why one has been dominant for years and the other is always finishing 9th. Now he's talking in reference to Josh Reynolds and Russell Packer leaving the game early, and the fact that that might be the reason why West Tigers come 9th every year. Well, not really. When you look at Melbourne and West's clubs, Melbourne's had, you can see over the last 20 years, some of the greatest players that have ever played the game. They've had about 3 or 4 future immortals in their team, plus a stacked team full of Queensland representatives, New South Wales representatives, New Zealanders, Tongans, Samoans that have all played for their country. Even when, like the other week when Parramatta played them, they still had representative players and stuff in their team. What do West have in comparison? West, there's not even, I think, one player in that West Tigers team that would make the Melbourne starting 17. So it wouldn't matter if Josh Reynolds and Russell Packer were running up and down the touchline going, come on lads, Howie, let's go. It wouldn't make a difference. They just don't have the players that Melbourne have. That's just as simple as that. It wouldn't matter. If Brandon Smith or whatever his name is, if he chose to leave the game early while Melbourne were playing, I think Melbourne would still win 30 or 40 points some weeks, regardless. It's got nothing to do with that. And the next nominee was Phillip Owens. and he typed, this is in reference to New Zealand losing against Parramatta and maybe not making the finals. Really disappointing that the NRL don't want New Zealand in the finals and are treating Parramatta like they treated South in 2014 with that blatant rubbish referee display in that game, and all year for Parra. Would have set up a great final. Sorry, the grammar's terrible in this. Would have set up a great final 3-week race rate spot. Oh well, doesn't matter when Roosters are winning it again this season anyway. I don't know what to say to that. Just a fucking daft comment, basically. Then we've got Alan Shepherd, who he featured on the Rugby League off-field rivalry series. I've had a rivalry run-ins with this lad in the past. He's a Parramatta fan, and he's on the Parramatta fan page. And I'm not going to read out everything that he said, but he said he's basically saying that Penrith coming face is a bit of a fluke. So he said Penrith beat Melbourne. They won by 7. Then they beat South. Then they beat West twice. And he said anyone can beat West. Then he said they beat Cronulla. Anyone can beat Cronulla. They beat North Queensland, who were easy beats. They beat the Gold Coast and Manly, who were easy beats. They beat Canberra by 16 points, but Canberra's not the same team apparently as they are last year. They beat New Zealand unconvincingly, and they beat Brisbane unconvincingly, so therefore they don't deserve to be coming first, despite winning 13 matches in a row. I don't know what to say to that either. Daft. Next nominee comes from someone by the name of Bela Farkas. I don't know if that's a guy name or a girl name. And he's talking in reference to Anthony Griffin becoming the new St George head coach. And right, probably a nice guy, but he is not a great head coach. Both Brisbane and Penrith found this out. And then someone underneath typed 55 win percentage across 2 clubs says otherwise. And then Gary Jessel replies, if you realise Penrith were in 4th position when sacked. So, I mean, another daft comment from Giant Bela Farkas. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I'm not going to get involved with that keeper. The next nominee comes from Luke McIntosh. This is in reference to Benji Marshall. Most overrated player of the last 10 years. Throws 3 forward passes and 2 backwards kicks a game. Really? Okay then, Luke McIntosh. Then someone by the name of Paul Wormleaton is the next nominee. He wrote their chockers the rabbits. I think what he's supposed to say is their chokers the rabbits. And then I actually replied to this and I went, chokers will imply that they lost the game against West Tigers. If you win, you can't be called a choker. No response to that. The next one comes from someone by the name of Paris Mahajan. And he went, this is in reference to Penrith. Wait till they play with Melbourne and the Chockies. I think he's supposed to mean Chuckies. And I went, who are the Chockies? And then he typed back, they're the Rockies or something. And I went, what the fuck? And then I went, but Penrith's beaten Melbourne and Eastern Suburbs this year. No reply, no response. The next nominee comes from someone by the name of Uwe John, or it might be John Uwe, but for Facebook he's put Uwe John. Now all I was doing was just stating some facts. I said, this was Newcastle, this is in reference to the Newcastle against East game. It was Newcastle's second only game at the SCG in their 32-year history. The first was last year when they were battered 48 points to 10. Fact. And then he types, with 12 of their players out, exclamation marks. Maybe you missed some at you, Derek. And then he said, and then he went on to say, you dopey stat man, when pulling stats trying to get all the information, and I'm going, I've got all the fucking information, me. Don't fucking lecture me about getting the information, like. I got the information. And the last nominee is actually a player, and this happened in the West against South's match. Now, West Tigers were coming back with a wet seal, and they had a chance of winning that game against South. And then South, when they finally got the ball and they were on the attack, they go down the left-hand side, and they throw the ball to an unmarked Alex Johnston. And all he had to do was just put the ball over the line. He was literally right there, and he drops the ball over the line, and it could have cost South Sydney the game, and potentially it could have cost them a position in the finals. Not like in the actual finals themselves, but it could have meant the difference between finishing 5th, 6th, 7th. So there was a lot riding on it, and definitely a numpty play from Alex Johnston, and I'm really surprised I'm seeing that because he's generally a very reliable player. But anyway, that's me Numpty of the Week award, episode 9. The winner this week was Clay Tom, who said that Souths have no right to exist. So anyway, that's my video for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click that like button. And if you're enjoying the content that I'm making and the videos that I'm doing, the series I'm doing, click that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you get an email when I do a new video. Anyways, everyone, I'll catch you all later, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, ta-ra.